If Estonia did establish a monarchy, Elizabeth II's favorite daughter-in-law, an ideal candidate in every respect, could become queen of the country. Strange fact, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, who was the favorite daughter-in-law of the late Elizabeth II and serves on behalf of the crown under Devere Charles III, could become Queen of Estonia. The unusual coincidence stems from the fact that more than 30 years ago her husband, Prince Edward, was sent an unusual request to take up a high position in Eastern Europe. Prince Edward, now 14th in line to the throne and bearing the title Duke of Edinburgh, is the fourth and youngest child of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. He reportedly had a chance to become king of a newly formed country in Eastern Europe one day in the 1990s, after the collapse of the Soviet Union. One of those countries was Estonia, and in the country's first elections, a political party called the Independent Royalist Party of Estonia won 8 seats in parliament. As the Sunday Telegraph reported at the time, the party leader decided to write to the Windsors to ask if Prince Edward would become their king, as they thought he was perfect for the role. Kaye Kolbuk said in his letter that the country would be honored if His Highness accepted the offer, as the party admired him immensely. Buckingham Palace is said to have responded in the spirit that it was a charming idea, but rather unlikely. For much of his youth, Prince Edward tried to build a career in television. He and his chosen wife Sophie were later condemned for their professional activities outside the palace, and the couple had to focus on working for the crown. Read also, The Story of One Scandal, How the Queen's favorite daughter-in-law and Prince Edward earned their titles. In the end, Edward and Sophie got very different titles, those that once belonged to Philip and Elizabeth. The Queen promised on her youngest son's wedding day in 1999 that he would succeed his father as Duke of Edinburgh. The palace said at the time, the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh and the Prince of Wales have also agreed that Prince Edward should be granted the Duchy of Edinburgh at the appropriate time when the current title, now held by Prince Philip, eventually reverts to the crown. The couple therefore adopted the much more modest titles of Earl and Countess of Wessex at the time of their wedding. His father's title did not pass to Edward until earlier this year. His older brother Charles III announced the appointment on March 10, his brother's 59th birthday. At the time, the palace said His Majesty was bestowing the title of Duke of Edinburgh on Prince Edward, making his wife Sophie the Duchess of Edinburgh.